everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Wildlife Wonders podcast. Woo! I'm your host, the one, the only, Seriana. Welcome back to another week, another animal. I'm glad you're here. Last week we had talked about the great white shark, and this week we have another animal in store. But before we get into it, I want to start by saying thank you to each and every one of you that watch the podcast, that listen, tell other friends and people about it, and that follow the Instagram page and support there as well, or the YouTube, because now we have the YouTube channel going. So if you haven't already, make sure you're following the Instagram page at Wildlife Wonders with an S podcast, all one word, so that you get the latest updates to everything going on. You can also go to the YouTube page, and that's Wildlife Wonders podcast, and find all the videos there. I am slowly starting to upload old videos and then starting to do the new videos on top of that. So you should be able to see both very, very soon. But without further ado, again, thank you to everyone that is here. We are global. We have already done over 25 episodes and we are working towards, is it 700 downloads? 800 downloads? It's wild. It still blows my mind to this day. But we're on another cycle, and today we are going to be talking about the Highland cow. So I know you have all seen the fluffy cows. They're usually all over Instagram and TikTok. Some people are getting them as pets in their house and then, of course, moving them outside at one point. But it is the cutest thing ever. And I've never wanted a cow before, and I really don't want to keep one now. But I wouldn't mind babysitting a baby cow. So we're going to talk about a Highland cow. Highland cows are also known as Highland cattle, and it is a type of rustic hardy cattle that is usually in the Scottish Highlands. They come in so many different colors. I know you've probably seen some black and white ones, some brown and cream ones. They're the cutest little thing. They're not super big either. Behavior-wise, they're generally docile, calm, friendly. They can be independent, and sometimes they go off on their own, kind of oblivious to everything going on. They're very social animals, but if you didn't know already, cows are naturally very social animals. They usually travel in herds, and they usually are forming close bonds with other members of the group. Now, have you ever seen people that have cows as pets, or cows, like they keep cows on their farm or whatever? You usually notice that a lot of the cows are pretty social to the humans, at least I guess when they've been socialized to them. But overall, they're very intelligent social animals. Along with their intelligence, they're quite curious. They're interactive with humans. Some of them can be more on the wild side if they have not been exposed to humans or domesticated early on in life. But overall, if I had to choose a gentle animal next to like a dog or maybe a cat to have, or a bearded dragon, it would probably be a cow. Habitat-wise, they are usually found in the Scottish Highlands and other parts of Scotland, although they're in other regions. Nowadays, obviously, if they're all over TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, you can find them a lot of times in the United States. I don't know if it's because of a trend necessarily right now of how cute they are, but I've been seeing them more and more in the United States and more people domesticating them. You can also find them in Canada and Australia because they're highly adaptable. So maybe that's another reason why you're seeing them around other places now, because they can make it. they can make it in different environments. They usually do a lot better in cold, wet, and rugged environments, but they can do pretty well in harsh weather areas too. If you've noticed with these cows, unlike other cows, they have very, very thick coats. Therefore, they're usually made for the colder areas. The thick coats help protect them from the snow, the rain, and the wind, so they have all the things they need to get through the elements and still maintain their personality and be the cows that everybody loves. I wonder to myself how that will play out, or how that plays out in hotter climates if they are moved to hotter climates here, because I think I've seen these cows in North Carolina, and yes, it can get cold, but it can get really, really hot here too. So I wonder if they have adapted some kind of like behavior or like characteristic or something when they've been moved to the hotter areas, and what they do during those seasons other than shed their coats. Diet-wise, they primarily graze on grass, herbs, and other vegetation found in their environments. They are usually pretty good at foraging in tough conditions, so they graze on less fertile land where other cattle may struggle. They're actually used a lot in conservation conservation projects, which we will talk about a little bit later. But because of that, they can graze in a lot of other areas that other cows would be like, we're not eating that. They don't care because they're able to adapt. If they don't have the grass that they need, they can eat hay, they can eat silage or other feed in the winter when the pasture is limited. I have never kept a cow in my life. That being said, I don't know exactly what else they would eat outside of the hay and maybe the supplemental like pellet things I've seen, but I'm sure there's other stuff they can eat out there. Size and characteristics. How big are these cows? Are they like Angus cows? Or are they like our milk cows? How big are they? Because I've only seen the small ones. Well, the adult can stand between 40 to 50 inches or 1 to 1.3 meters at the shoulder and weigh between 1,300 and 1,800 pounds. That translates to 600 to 800 kilograms. That's a big cow. They might be small, but I didn't realize they were that heavy. If it is a bull, they can weigh even more than that. So these are the cows. The females can weigh on this side, and then the bulls can weigh even more. They usually have long, flowing, wavy coats. It looks like a fresh new set of bundles or a fresh pack of bundles. These cows are absolutely gorgeous. I'm definitely going to insert a picture for y'all to see if you haven't seen it already. They can usually be red, they can be black, yellow, white, a mixture of those colors. I've seen a lot of these cows that are usually brown and white, but they can be other colors as well. Their coat or their fur is very, very thick because like I said, they have to get through Scottish winters. So they're very thick and it's usually a lot of insulation for them. They do have a little hair over their eyes. It's like their bangs. Incredibly cute. So it's over their eyes and sometimes over their horns, and it's their characteristics like having a little fluff right here. It gives a little pizzazz. They can flick over their shoulder. So they have that, and then they have sturdy, strong legs. Makes them well adapted for rough terrain. So that being said, they're stout, heavy cows, but they got a little personality to them. They are cute. They have their little bangs and their big eyes. So that is all about their size and characteristics. Honestly, looking at them, I would have never ever thought they were that heavy. But then again, I don't know if I paid attention to the average weight of a cow. I just know they're adorable. Mating. They are typically bred in the autumn or fall, and they have a gestation period for 9 months. That means they have the same gestation period as us. They keep their babies for 9 months before they birth them. They are born in the spring when the weather is a little bit better, and they usually give birth to 1 calf at a time, which I guess is pretty normal for a lot of cows. 2 calves sounds like a lot of work. For the first time ever the other day, well, maybe not the first time ever, the first time with awareness, I watched a video of a calf feeding, and it looked very, very painful. That calf was pulling on the udders, so I could only imagine how that would be if they had 2 or 3 to feed at the same time. The bulls and the cows are usually kept separate except for mating season. You don't want to have any conflict. You don't want them fighting. So that being said, they are usually separate, and I guess right now technically is mating season for the cows. So if you see some baby calves in the spring, you know when it happened. So that is all about their mating. Predators. What do we know about predators? Well, cows are large. Like we said, it's 1,000 to, I think I said 1,300 pounds. They're extremely large. Doesn't mean something can't get them now. They can still be taken down, but if they're traveling in herds and they're that big, it's kind of a risk. So there's not a lot of predators that want to prey upon them, but the young calves, that's a different story. I'm sure everybody's seen the videos of the young calves being taken down by like alligators and lions and well, not lions, alligators and crocodiles and wolves and all kind of things like that. So the young cats are usually more vulnerable to predators than the adults. So you have wolves where there's existing, large cats like cougars, and even large prey like eagles. I've never seen an eagle lift a cow up, but doesn't mean it's not possible. They are very strong birds. On average, they live about 15 to 20 years, some even longer with some good care. So if they're living a spoiled lifestyle, they might live a lot longer. But this is usually because of their hardiness, and they have very, very strong immune systems, so they're able to live a lot longer than other cows or other mammals may be. Conservation status, they are not considered endangered right now. In fact, they're actually using conservation status for environments and trying to help the grass and everything grow and stay healthy. So they're not really endangered. It's the opposite. They're actually helping the environment more than the environment hurting them. Their numbers have fluctuated, partially because we're breeding them for conservation efforts, maybe because the environment is changing, but they're usually not at risk, and the demand for them in farming and sustainable agriculture is pretty high, so there's no worry there. Sometimes in some regions, conservation programs are focused on preserving traditional farming practices and the biodiversity, so they try to keep these cattle around to help with that. Now, we've gotten through all the regular facts. Now, hopefully you know a little bit more about Highland cows or Highland cattle, about where they're from, how long they live, what they look like, if you haven't seen these cutie pies. But we have finally reached a point where it's time to talk about the fun facts. I have 3 fun facts for you, just like always, and we're just going to fire them off. Some of these may be new to you, some of them may not be, but hopefully you're learning something if you're listening to the podcast, if you've gotten this far. So number 1, they have a very, very thick coat. We all know that. That's one of the things they're known for. But did you know that they have one of the longest and the thickest coats of any cattle breed? You heard it here. The longest and thickest coats of any cattle breed. It is designed to keep them warm when they're going through harsh Scottish winters. But they do shed their coats in the warmer months, so you'll see that little fluffy, more afro look in the warmer months because they are shedding. Number 2, they are natural grazers, obviously, but they're using conservation grazing programs. This is one we've kind of talked about already throughout the podcast episode in multiple different places. But they can graze on steep hillsides, wetland areas, and other tough landscapes that's usually difficult for other people to access and machinery to get there. So they're very useful because they're able to maneuver those landscapes where those machines and maybe other animals cannot survive or get through those areas. So very helpful in that. And number 3, they're not just for meat. So Highland cattle are bred for meat. Is more lean and flavorful. I wouldn't eat these babies, but they are bred for meat. But not just meat. They have long horns and a striking appearance, so it's a very, very popular attraction in farms and zoos. So they're one of the most iconic breeds in the world. And they're a symbol of Scotland. So maybe that's why they're starting to show up everywhere now, because they're so freaking cute. And because they have such unique features. So maybe that stops them from being on the chopping block. Who knows? Would y'all eat a Highland cow? I don't eat cow anyway, but I don't think I could. I don't think I could eat something that cute. Anywho, we made it to the very end of the episode. I hope you learned something today. I hope you enjoyed or at least found some interest in the cow episode, or this may not be your type of species, and that's okay. But regardless, tell a friend to tell a friend. We're back. We're here every other Friday, and you can learn animal facts. Again, if you haven't already, follow us at Wildlife Wonders Podcast, all one word, Wildlife Wonders with an S, for all the update on new episodes, cool fun facts outside of the recorded episodes, and just to say hello. If you have any feedback, feel free to find us wherever you find your favorite podcast. So that is Google, Spotify, Apple Music. We're on all of them. Until next time, thank you for showing up. Bye!